Raider Nation, coming up here on the Raiders Report, Aidan O'Connell versus Gardner Minshew. We'll kind of talk about the latest quarterback battle from Antonio Pierce. He spoke today and had a lot of interesting words out there. He also hyped up J.J. McCarthy, and if you haven't seen the recent smoke around McCarthy, you need to stay tuned because smile on my face. Then, more updates here around the Raiders potentially trading up and trying to get their guy in Jayden Daniels. Wait till you see what Antonio Pierce had to say if he could end up doing it. So if you haven't seen some of the new reports out there from AP, this is what he had to say on Aidan O'Connell, and I had probably close to 100 people message me these words saying, Mitch, have you seen what Antonio Pierce said about Aidan O'Connell? At the end of the day, listen, Aidan O'Connell played his ass off. He did a hell of a job for us. You're talking about a kid that has the mental toughness to play in the National Football League. Whatever happened, and whatever we do, it has to go through Aidan O'Connell. Being honest with you, because he's earned that right, like anybody else, it's all about competition. And if we can make the room the most competitive room on our team, the quarterback room will be a good football team. The way that I would kind of say of what I need to say of what Antonio Pierce said was, first off, Aidan O'Connell did not do a hell of a job. I mean, let's be real. He was a below-average quarterback for the Raiders when he started. Can he maybe get better? And I'm hoping that he gets better. Of course I am. If you get a quarterback that you draft in round 4, they get better and better. That's just more trade value down the road, or he ends up being a good starting quarterback. However, though, the Raiders quarterback battle should run through Aidan O'Connell because he's the only guy that was a quarterback on last year's team. Plus, all you have is Gardner Minshew right now. Like, if you want to gone out in free agency and brought in a guy like Kirk Cousins, this wouldn't be a conversation. It's a conversation because both Aidan O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, I can make reasons why both of them deserves to start. And Pierce does just want good competition. He should want good competition at every spot. But what do you expect him to say at this point of the offseason? And the way that I know that he wants good competition, this is what AP had to say about Gardner Minshew. Like, he beat us. He's a competitor, and we want competition in that room. You see it in his career. He finds a way. He's a culture fit. That's a wild boy right there. And you know what? I know Gardner Minshew's a wild boy. Hell, I feel like if you're a Raider fan, you got to be a little bit of a wild boy. And if you're a Raiderette, you got to have a little bit of that wildness in you. You have to be a little bit crazy to like this team. And you got to be a little bit crazy to watch this show and to follow along with this team in the offseason, March, April, May, June, July. But you know what? I want some wild ones around here. I love people that care so much about a football team, that care so much about the nation, that cares so much about a show that you do take time out of your day to watch May, June, and July. That's why I think Raider Nation is built totally differently. It's why I feel like I just belong. Like, I have never felt like I belong to a sports team my entire life. And I'm a Raider fan because of all the nation, because of the crazy ones out there, because of the wild ones. So if you're a little bit wild and you're a Raider fan, hit that subscribe button. I promise you, we're the channel for you. Now, my take here on AP creating competition at the quarterback room and giving everyone a chance is smart. No doubt about it. Chugs also wants you all to type me down below if you're a crazy one. I think is what I heard, right? Yeah? Okay. I think that's what I heard. AP, though, creating competition at that quarterback room does give everyone a chance. It's smart. And, like, you're also not tipping your hand because, yes, we know that AP wants Jayden Daniels. It's not a secret. But I also don't think it's smart to tip your entire hand based off of what you could potentially do going into the NFL draft. And you could say Gardner's the quarterback one, which maybe I should put Aidan as the QB1 for this graphic. This is just based on what I personally believe is the best fit for the Raiders right now. And it's going to be an open competition the entire time. But at the end of the day, I am a believer that whatever you do in life, and you know, Pierce has said this, the more competition you add to something, the better it's going to be. I don't want somebody to walk into camp and just be like, oh, this is my job, because then they're not going to get the most out of it. You build a healthy competition here, and if that competition makes your quarterback room better, and if your defense plays the exact same way it did last season, you won 8 games with Josh McDaniels, plus Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, and Aidan O'Connell at quarterback. If Aidan gets better, or if you get better quarterback play, you can legitimately win 10 games. That puts you in the shot for to make the playoffs. But this is the question here. Who ends up winning that quarterback battle? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. If you think it's going to be Gardner Minshew, type GM. If you think it's going to be Aidan O'Connell, type AOC. Because, yes, right now, Aidan probably is the quarterback one. And yes, right now, Aidan probably does have the upper hand. However, though, if it is a legitimate battle, that means they're going to be battling the entire offseason. And the guy that I'm going to put my money on is Gardner Minshew. One reason, well, he did beat Aidan last season head-to-head, which I think matters. And when you look at these 2023 stats, they are similar in some regards, but, like completion percentage, basically the same thing. The passing yards, when you look at it on a per-game basis, it's pretty damn close. Touchdowns, interceptions, QBR, again, neither great numbers. But the one thing that I'm really focusing on this upcoming season, because to me, the most important thing, if it is legitimately between Aidan and Gardner, it's the quarterback that, one, takes care of the football, and then the quarterback that I have the most confidence in close game situations. And unfortunately, Aidan was really bad last season in the fourth quarter in games that were plus or minus 7 points, which to me is the most important time of a football game for a quarterback. Now, when you look at the numbers, they are very similar in terms of completions and attempts. Like Aidan, 20 for 44, Gardner, 30 for 46. The yards favor Gardner. Touchdowns, the exact same, but Gardner didn't turn over the football in those clutch situations. Aidan O'Connell did, and a 32.1 quarterback rating does make me nervous. If the Raiders are going to go with their plan where they are going to rely on that defense and they're going to try to build a juggernaut of a team and roll with below average quarterbacks because that's how confident they are in their team, cool. But that also means that you do need to find QBs that you have confidence in the fourth quarter to pick up that extra first down, to move the chains a little bit. And I watched too many games last season where Aidan, that it fell short. Can he get better in his pocket awareness? Yes, he can. But is Aidan ever going to be able to be that guy? Is Gardner Minshew ever going to be able to be that guy? My answer to that is no. Good backup? Yes. Below average starter? Probably where they're going to be at best. Coming up here, though, an eye-popping quote from Antonio Pierce. And it was one, when I saw it this morning, I got a little bit nervous. And for those that watch live, if the Raiders end up drafting J.J. McCarthy, I got to do something with my fingernails for a whole week. Chug said something about French tips. And if you haven't seen it, go watch our French dips. Or tips, I don't know. All right, French dip's the sandwich, French tip. Exactly. I don't know what I'm talking about. What I do know, though, is you should get started with our sponsor here, PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. I mean, think about what you could do with $100, Chugs. I mean, you could probably go get a manicure and a pedicure with that type of money. That sounds pretty good to me. That'd be really good. And a few French dips. Pick 2+ players, choose more or less is all you got to do. And right now, my number one selling point of why anybody should go get started with PrizePicks is I am telling you right now, Alex and I, we went out on Saturday and we watched college basketball for probably a good 6 to 7 hours, and we put down money on a whole bunch of games. Alex does not watch college basketball, and I'm sure some of you all are out there right now like, I would love to be able to go watch college basketball with my significant other. Well, here's the thing. You pay for everything else. You put some money down, have her watch the game with you. Do this with your kids. They're going to be locked into the game that you do because they're going to feel like, all right, we have a chance to win. Like, Dad has a chance to win. My significant other has a chance to win. Like, it was so much fun. Now, these are the picks that I have for this upcoming week. These were made by our chat sports team here, where I took some mores, took some lesses. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to sit down and watch all these games and be locked into those players with the chance to win a little bit of money. So if you want to get started, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. I promise you, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to be locked into the game. Even if you don't care about college basketball, you will care if you get started with the number one daily fantasy sports app out there, which is PrizePicks. All right, so let's look now at this eye-popping quote from Antonio Pierce, because it was, and I mean very, very eye-popping. Almost as eye-popping as apparently OBJ and Kim K breaking up after 6 months. But hey, J.J. McCarthy is a national champion. How is he not in the top 3 quarterbacks? That's what Antonio Pierce said today. J.J. McCarthy is a national champion. How is he not among the top 3 quarterbacks? And I love that Antonio Pierce said it, because at first I panicked. I hit a little bit of the overreaction button, but I loved the fact that he said it. Why? Because I think that JJ is going to go a lot higher than he should. But I will say he is a little bit crazy for the statement. Just because you win a national championship does not mean that you're going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I mean, Hell, Stetson Bennett is a 2-time national champion, right? Like, there's some instances where it works out, where I would say Jalen Hurts, Tua, Deshaun Watson worked out. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, they worked out. Look at some of the other names on that list. For the love of God. Like, it is not a good list of names for some other quarterbacks there. Yeah, I literally saw Jay Coker. I'm like, I don't even know who that is. Cardell Jones, we didn't come here to play school. Jameis Winston, sure, but he has not really materialized to the quarterback that a lot of people thought he would. And then Mac Jones, right? Like, Mac Jones. Just because you win a national championship, that does not make you a top 3 quarterback. And I don't believe that JJ is a top 3 QB. But the reason why that this show is important today is because NFL owner meetings are going on. And a lot of new stuff continues to come out. There was a report that came out today from Tom Pelissero that a lot of people in the building believe that Adam Peters, GM right now, the Washington Commanders, likes J.J. McCarthy and could take him at number 2, which, for people that watch the show, remember, a few weeks ago, we talked about Peters, GM, telling Jayden Daniels back in 2022 is the rumor that they didn't view him as a quarterback that could be legitimate. I'm telling you right now, if Caleb Williams goes off the board, number 1, and then number 2 goes off the board as J.J. McCarthy, I don't know how happy I'm going to be. I'm going to use a line that my dad always says, I'm going to be happier than a pig in shit, because that's how happy I'll be, because then the Raiders, to me, got a shot to go get Jayden. Then they still got a shot to go get a guy like Drake May if they really wanted to, or a team like Minnesota who wants Drake May, then I actually think figures out a way to try to trade up to number 3, creating a path for Jayden Daniels to number 4. Point is, lots and lots of stuff continuously going on here, but the one thing and the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because if Washington does take McCarthy at number 2, and there's rumors around the Patriots wanting to trade back at 3, that the Cardinals could trade back at number 4, the Raiders still have a shot to trade up and go get a quarterback. And Pierce is right now at the NFL owners meetings. He's been talking to the media. He was talking with, I saw Vic Tafur to Sean Reed today, a bunch of these guys that are Raiders beat reporters. And one of the things that Pierce said was asked, so are you moving up to get Jayden or what? Like, when somebody asks a head coach like that, and for their response to be, you got the pick, can you make that happen, please? I mean, that tells you what he wants. He wants Jayden Daniels. And the exact quote is this on AP and the Raiders trading up for a quarterback. I think everything's on the table. Whatever makes the Raiders better, I'm all for. When I say I'm a go-getter, meaning whatever it takes to win, whatever it takes to get the best player to make our team the best, that's what I want to do. And that's what I'd like to see us do. I believe Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco are trying to move up for Jayden Daniels. And if they get the chance, they will do it. Like, I say right now that Antonio Pierce wants to do it. Telesco is probably a little bit more on the fence about it. However, right now it's a hefty price tag. But if there is a scenario where Jayden is available at pick 3, and if he's available at pick 4, it's not a question of will the Raiders pick up the phone and try to get a deal done. It is how much are they willing to offer. I would bet my lifetime of money that I got saved up that the Raiders, if Jayden is available at 3 and if he's available at 4, that phone will be ringing. I'm not guaranteeing a deal's going to get done, but they're going to try. And if everything that AP has said, Band-Aid at the quarterback position, franchise guy, going to get their guys, I'm telling you right now, if you don't think that there's a chance, you should believe now more than ever that the Raiders have a shot of trading up and getting their franchise quarterback just based off the new reports that have come out from the NFL owner meetings.